Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here. I'm today with a breaking news kind of story here. And we just had Toonami's panel at Adult Swim Festival happen. And I'm just going to kind of be here to cover the minutes from it, some of the details, some of the big details from it. And the first thing is just generally how little we actually got. In many ways, you can argue this was kind of pointless, you know? And to start things off, the first thing they led with is a sponsorship, not a sponsored content for Demon Souls, I believe it was. I forgot the exact name. Exclusive title to the PS5. It was an opening title to PS5. And I mean, that's just the thing right there. It's like if you're opening with sponsored content, you know the night isn't going to be very eventful. And then right after that was probably what was the closest thing to a big announcement we had. We did have a new show announcement, and that show is SSSS Gridman. I have no idea what it is, but based on what they later kind of briefly talked about, and they're very briefly talked about it. They did not make a full-on big deal about it. It's a show they're getting January 2021, and it's a big robot anime, as you can tell from like the picture they briefly showed of it, and then what Jason DeMarco briefly talked about is like, oh yeah, it's been a while since we had a good big robot anime on the block, which I mean, the concept of Gundam and the concept of big robot anime is kind of controversial to Nami. It sparks a lot of debate about like whether Gundam is good or Gundam is bad. Well, technically this isn't Gundam, it's something else. But at the same time, it's a title I've honestly never heard of before. And considering a lot of people are looking into which shows were coming out, which shows that had like just announced dubs, some names, some types, some like shows that really would fit into the Toonami mold did recently get announced to have dubs. Like most notably Jujutsu Kaisen, I believe is the name, but I might have mispronounced it again. That one got announced like a week ago, and a lot of people thinking with the timing, maybe that gets announced for Toonami. That is not the case. It is not coming to Toonami. And I mean, maybe you heard of this and you are looking forward to it. It's really just feels like back of the block filler to me. It's not gonna be the type of show I look forward to, and I don't know how many people really are gonna be looking forward to it. And considering what a lot of people came into this expecting, for that to be like the big reveal is honestly pretty disappointing for a lot of people. And just another thing is the question: if you're following just the YouTube chat during it, everyone, like nearly everyone, was asking about what about Uzumaki? What about Uzumaki? What's happening with Uzumaki? Because they hyped it up a year ago, and since then we've had one teaser trailer, like some storyboards, and that's really it. And after a while, Jason DeMarco did break down and briefly mention, like, oh, I see there's a lot of questions about Uzumaki, and he mentioned, all I know is that Uzumaki will come sometime next year. I have an idea, but I'm not confident enough to say when. And since they talked about, I think he phrased it like, oh, with all the coronavirus stuff, everything got pushed back. It got pushed back a year. And I phrased it like this, and almost kind of saying like a year, like more as a specific time frame. I think it was more or less about 12 months as in a year, which would mean if it is a 12-month delay, then that means odds are if we're seeing Uzumaki, we are seeing it on October 2021. He didn't say October 2021. He said sometime next year, which can mean any time during the year, but how he's talking about it, and they're not saying specifics, it's not coming in the early part of 2021. We're probably going to have to wait nearly a whole calendar year just to see it. And that's just disappointing for a lot of people. And it's what I predicted. I predicted that considering how non-forthcoming Uzumaki, the staff behind Uzumaki, or how little forthcoming Toonami really has been regarding Uzumaki, we're still a ways away from seeing it on the block. But, and again, and that's what I came to expect, you know. I actually predicted we would get a couple stills. We did not even get that there, you know. And I made predictions earlier today, I believe. Yes, I made predictions that we would get Jujutsu Kaisen announcement. We did get an announcement, but it is not that. And I'm like, oh, maybe we get a few stills from Uzumaki or Blade Runner. Blade Runner is never even mentioned tonight, which is a really scary sign if they're not even gonna say the words Blade Runner, and they're even willing to say Uzumaki. And I was optimistic, and I admitted I was optimistic, saying maybe we get a Fina Pirate Princess date or information about it. We got no information about that. However, with the trailer we did get back at Adult Swim Con a couple months ago, I am still under the belief that Fina Pirate Princess will probably be air before Uzumaki or Black Lotus Blade Runner. But, and then again, that's just my opinion. And so far, it's almost you just have to read through tea leaves here. You don't have much information. We haven't gotten much from it. And then there was one more interesting note because there was a Q&A section, and the one question that stood out to me was them talking about the white whale, as in like which show did you really want to get on Toonami but you couldn't get? And they mentioned like, oh, Cowboy Bebop during the Cartoon Network days, but since we came to Toonami and the content in it wouldn't be much of a problem, we've been able to air it. And Bebop actually won like their like bracket for like what's your favorite Toonami show, and allegedly people think that means that Cowboy Bebop will get a marathon for Christmas. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but that's very plausible, and I would expect that to happen since they're going to try to find a way to save money, and since they own the rights to the English dub of Cowboy Bebop, they're going to find a way to air it again. And then back to that question, and they did mention Mob Season 2, and I've been saying this, Mob Season 2 has kind of been the show that it's been the odd man out. It's the show that, like I said, Toonami has this tradition of having, if a show has a second season that they aired the first season of, Season 2 is almost guaranteed to air. Mob Season 2 has yet to air on the block, and they kind of mentioned here that, yeah, we didn't think it would be as hard to get it, but it was hard to get it, and they said it in a way that had a degree of finale to it, which I believe means we will never see Mob Psycho Season 2 on Toonami, which is a shame. I've heard really good things about Season 2, and that just sucks, you know? And again, like I said, overall, this was a pretty dismal night for the block in terms of announcements, you know, and it's just one of those things where it's like, Uzumaki, best case scenario, we get it late next year. Mob Season 2 not coming to the block. We did get a new show, but it's not exactly a title I don't think that many people were really clamoring to have on Toonami. It was like, it's like, at least most of these anime I've heard peripherally, like I've heard heard it in passing. I haven't heard SSSS Gridman in passing. Maybe it's something that slipped through my fingers and it's a big thing and I haven't noticed it yet. But again, not exactly the best nights for Toonami, in my opinion. I was hoping for more, and I think a lot of people were really hoping for more. What do you guys think? What's your opinion on the announcements we got tonight at Adult Swim Con? Leave your comments, leave your opinions down below. I love reading them. If you like this content, if you want me to do more content on Toonami, please like, please comment, and subscribe. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.